Welcome to the Bridge of Two podcast. Let the party begin. It's Bridge of Two time in your household.
Bridge of Two. I'm distracted already.
Don't
This
do
is
the
not going to
puzzle.
go well. I'm sorry. It is a beautiful masterpiece of a puzzle sitting in front of me. How could I not do it?
There's a puzzle. Actually, it's not beautiful. You're trying to make it beautiful.
I am trying to make it beautiful.
You're trying to bring order to chaos.
Trying to bring the art of John Howe to life.
Good old John. He's still kicking around.
Is he?
He's done. He did art for the Rings of Power show too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well,
Do
welcome
what you
everybody.
love, kids. And someday they'll make a TV show and they'll ask you to do art for it.
Oh, I wish. I need to do art. Anyway, how's it going? Welcome everybody.
I don't know. There's no way to get that feedback from the listeners that are no doubt shouting into their stereos right now. We're great! Yay! Bridge of Two! Are you cold? Are you covering it up?
I had to cover up the puzzle. It was distracting.
Immodest puzzle.
It needs to be dressed, covered. It is mostly naked right now. This is not put together.
right.
Its pieces are all over the place. For those who are wondering, my wife and I bought a Lord of the Rings, The Art of John Howe 1,000 piece puzzle that we started. That is just sitting on our kitchen table, which is where we record. And I have really bad ADHD. And so I can't not do it while we're here.
Scantily put together.
So I had to cover it with a blanket so that I don't get distracted.
So, how's your week going? Or 2 weeks? How's your time going?
Not too bad, not too bad. Same old, same old. Pretty much beat Elden Ring.
Okay. Nice.
Which I think we talked about Elden Ring in the past
Did
video.
you get the ring? Or do you have to destroy the ring?
I think it turns into a cosmic horror thing at the very end.
But what is the Elden Ring?
I don't know, but I know there's an Elden Beast. I have 2 bosses left.
Okay.
And they're both right after the other. And so I haven't done
You haven't beaten it before?
No.
I didn't know that.
No.
Okay.
I just am not beating it yet because the DLC drops in
5 minutes.
4 days.
Oh, right.
And so I want to have my character up there so that I'll be able to,
Right.
play the DLC. I don't have to do New Game Plus or make a new character. Plus, there's a lot of side stuff I haven't even done yet because you can honestly beat the game pretty early on, is what it seems like. You don't need to be all there's a lot, hundreds of bosses in the game technically.
Yeah.
Different variations of bosses, but
You can go to the final boss right away kind of thing, or
I think you only need to beat maybe 2. I mean, there are certain bosses you have to beat, but not nearly as much as that are in the game. And the game doesn't lock you to it's not like Dark Souls where it's very linear and kind of locks you into zones. It's an open world game, so you can kind of go wherever you want. Monsters are just going to be a lot more difficult to kill.
Is it the biggest open world game you've ever played?
No, it's big, but it's not that big.
Okay.
I wouldn't say. Well,
Hogwarts Legacy is a pretty big open world.
Hogwarts Legacy is pretty big. Honestly, some of the Assassin's Creed games are massive. Odyssey is really big.
I never played Odyssey, but yeah, that would make sense.
The Witcher is pretty big from what I've gathered so far.
Okay, so The Witcher, you can just get on a horse and just go anywhere.
Yes, but then there are also different regions, so you have to go like a world map.
Okay.
And then go to different regions. That's what it seems like.
Red Dead Redemption had a big open world.
It did. Yeah. Skyrim has a really big open world.
Yeah. That's what this podcast is about. We're ranking open worlds.
Yeah, that's what this episode is.
And how big they are. Not really.
I'm actually
I kind of want to do that now.
Yeah, no, we honestly should. I'm usually not a big fan of open world games.
Yeah.
I never really have been. Because I like video games for the story, And sometimes when you give me too much freedom, I won't do the story. I'll do all the side quests. And then by the time I'm going to the story, I'm like, I'm burnt out of the game because I've played for 30 hours.
Right. Like they should have got to the story faster.
Like I have to find a way to like balance doing side quests and then also doing the main story, which is what I'm trying to do in The Witcher right now. But then I'm trying to get better about just enjoying playing the game.
Yeah.
Elden Ring's been like that because Elden Ring doesn't really have it has a story, but it's not like your, Dark Souls. Those games aren't like your regular story. So that has been a lot easier for me to just go in and just enjoy exploring and killing things. And there are so many different things to find in different like small dungeons in the game. So that's helped a lot. So, and we'll see how The Witcher goes. But yeah, other than that, just continuing to read the Red Rising trilogy. I'm on the third book. I cap about a little less than halfway through it. Those books are really good. I've been really enjoying that series. And I have a bunch of other books lined up behind it that I don't know what I'm going to read next, including supposed to be doing my reread for Stormlight, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah. I haven't read, I'm on Oathbringer, and I haven't read it in a while. No, I'm pretty early on in it.
I might end up, like when the book 5 comes out, I might end up like getting the gumption to like sit and go and do the reread. But I have so many other books I want to read, and I might just want to go straight into book 5.
I'm probably just going to go into book 5. But then maybe I'll go back and read Rhythm. I don't know.
Although I might go back and read Rhythm of War first. Because I've only read that one once.
Yeah, I've only read that one once. Well, I've only read, I hadn't done a reread.
Yeah, I haven't done a reread of it yet.
So.
We'll see. But I have a lot of, like, I kind of want to try and read the Witcher books again. I want to read The Expanse.
I want to read The Expanse, actually.
I want to get back into Wheel of Time. Too many books. But other than that, not much. I mean, I started the Witcher 3 video game, which I've owned for years upon years. I bought it on sale a long time ago, like years ago. And I've like, we'll pick it up, play for like 30 minutes, and then put it down because it is a very big game, very daunting.
Right.
But I decided I'm going to actually pick it up and play it this time around, since I am trying to get through my backlog of games. About an hour and a half into The Witcher 3, and it's fun. I think I'm really gonna enjoy playing it. I like the story, the combat's fun, gameplay.
Geralt. I played a good bit of. I forget if it's the first or second one. There was they were on crazy on sale at some point. I got the first and second one, and I can't remember. And I liked it, but I think it was the first one, and I think the second one, the combat system's a lot different. And
yeah, they changed it up. I've tried playing the first one. I didn't like the combat in it. I've beaten the second one.
I like the story.
What you been up to?
Well, okay, I have a story.
Oh boy,
I have a Helldivers story.
Oh boy,
that I was saving.
Shout out to
Steph,
to my wonderful wife Stephanie, for always supporting us in the show, and taking our daughter out so she doesn't cry. Say hi, Emma. You say hi?
Oh, she's pleasant.
Oh, she smiled.
She gave a smile. Anyway, your Helldivers story.
So there was without going into all the arcs and lore and stuff that's been going on in the game, there's this planet that became a bug super colony. Basically because of the Helldivers, because of them doing they introduced this stuff that was supposed to kill the bugs that caused them to mutate, go crazy. And so, of course we have to go to the planet and destroy the super colony we're pumping this dark fluid into it.
It sounds safe and good.
Yeah. And the mission was broken. There was a bug in the mission where
no pun intended,
the actual bugs could breach. So you had these 3 sites where you had to deploy the dark fluid. So you call down this drill and you put this special fluid in, and then you're supposed to protect it while it's drilling down. And then as soon as you call down the drill, you get crazy amount of bug breaches. Well, they could breach right under the drill. And so immediately it would just break. And somehow the very first mission I did of this, we did it. somehow.
Impressive.
But then, like, after that, it was just
couldn't get it,
insane trying to do it. And, like, people were complaining and freaking out and stuff. And, but some people were liked how hard it was. Like, you could do it. It was just super hard. So, anyway, they were about to release a patch for it. And the day before the patch, I did one more mission of this mission. So 3 injection sites. It took all of our reinforcements. We had none done. We were on one site trying to just kept calling the drill down, kept getting destroyed, kept trying to get it called down. We had, we called in our last reinforcement, and I texted in the chat to the other 3 guys. Well, this is it, boys. And I did a hug emoji, or not emoji, a hug emote, yeah, with one of the guys we hugged, and then we went on to complete the entire thing.
Really?
Now only 2 of us extracted, but it was crazy. It was just like we got that, like somehow we got things under control and got that first site done, and then after that the second site came pretty quickly, and then the third site was tough, but we got it. But we did it with no reinforcements.
Yeah, that's impressive to do all of those without any reinforcements.
So that was just like the most epic feeling.
For
That's
democracy,
that's the kind of thing that game, those kind of organic team, against the odds experiences can happen with that. It was really fun. And then they fixed the mission the next day, and it was still hard, but
not as
way easier because the bugs would spawn outside of that area, and then you'd have to just defend like a perimeter. Instead of hell opening up underneath you while you're trying to.
Well, you are hell divers. Come on.
Yeah. But anyway,
embrace the suck for democracy.
But yeah. So I've been having fun continuing to play that game. And
it really is a good game, and they do of all the live service games, they definitely probably are doing it the best right now.
Yeah.
So I feel like the live service game is like slowly dying right now.
Yeah.
Because they've been putting out a lot of crap.
Right.
But Helldivers is actually, they're doing it. They're also doing great because like Destiny 2, for example, like they're a live service game, but like things are locked behind the previous stuff. And so like you miss out on things where I feel like with Helldivers 2, at least so far, like you're not really like, maybe you're missing out a little bit of story, but the story isn't really that, it's not that in depth. It's not that in depth or that important. It's more of just different things that you can kind of, and the way they do it, it's just like you can kind of jump in at any point,
right? Or
jump out. Where like for example, again, Destiny, like you just kind of can't, or you're gonna miss a lot of stuff,
right? Yeah. So I like the way, they do it with the, they kind of give you the premise of why you're doing this, and sometimes they'll add a mission that feels specific to the major order, stuff like that. That mission that I was talking about, one thing that was fun about that is you would have to call down the drill, but you didn't have to call down the dark fluid, and it was like a backpack you'd put on, and it was a jetpack.
Oh, that's cool.
So like it was this blue backpack, but it had a quicker cooldown than the regular jetpack, and it was more powerful. You could also like if you jetpacked right underneath a buddy, you would kill him because.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But yeah, so like that kind of stuff is fun, when they add little stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was fun. But yeah. I don't know if I have. Oh, I mean, I did. I'll save my thoughts for talking about Avatar, but I did finish season 1 of the animated show.
Nice, very nice.
Really, really liked it. I don't know if I can think of anything else. I may be working on a video game.
Whoa.
But
that's awesome.
I haven't, really done anything real on it yet, but
that's awesome.
Yeah. So
part of me was always wanted to stop everything that I'm doing and try to learn how to code for video games
Just
and
make a
just
video game,
become an indie developer. Like you see the YouTube videos where like my wife and I took a year off and just made a video game and now we're whatever. I'm like, oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. I know.
Too bad I can't.
That's kind of what this guy did. He's been working on this video game for like a little less than a year, I think, and like taught himself a lot of stuff, and he's just trying to get a story.
It's honestly really impressive. I see people on Instagram a lot. There's one guy on Instagram I see pop up on my feed quite often. He's making a game. I don't know what the story is going to be. I don't even know if there's going to be a story, but I don't know if you've seen it. It's dinosaurs, but they have like swords and axes and scythes.
I feel like I've heard of that.
And the animation is looking fire.
I think I've heard.
But it's like he started off with like a T-Rex, but it's got a gigantic great sword in its mouth. But like once again, like the combat looks fluid, and like I'd play it.
I think I've seen some of that. It's been a while, but
stuff like that just makes me want to like
like a realistic like parry system, and but it's like animated realistically too.
Yes. Yeah, he did a good job making like the weapons look heavy. The way they hit, I don't know. I love that in video games.
Yeah,
I think that's why I'm a big Dark Souls fan too, because those like heavier the weapon, you can feel the heaviness when you swing. I love that stuff. Animation, I would love to do animation. It's a lot of work though.
Yeah. Well, should we take a break and then start talking about this episode, or should we?
Yeah, let's take a quick break.
Jump back in, like take a break later on.
Let's take a break now.
Okay.
For the first time in many episodes, actually have drinks.
We have a drink
this episode. So we'll take a break. We'll come back and do that, and then we'll start talking about the last two episodes, the end of Avatar, the live action
Bender, Airbender.
What Airbender?
Live action Airbender.
I heard Airbender.
Huh. Don't knock it.
Huh.
I mean, the Fifth Element. Little soldier boy, come marching home. Brave soldier boy, come marching home. The end.
Beautiful. And the wails of the audience just lingers on.
Well, we're back.
We are back.
And we're ready to drink Dragon Ball Z.
Drink the power within.
Drink the Dragon Balls.
Ew.
They're what? What? That's what it's all about. Getting the Dragon Balls. What?
Just you said drink the Dragon Balls and
well, yeah. What's wrong with that?
Anyway. Yeah, Josh was kind enough to pick up some Dragon Ball Z energy drinks that he found at, I'm assuming,
Five Below.
Oh, Five Below.
Yeah, so it was less than $5 per
Nice.
drink.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah.
These have no indication of what their flavor are.
No.
But I have...
Yours is supposed to taste like that character, probably.
I don't know how to feel about that. I have Piccolo on mine, and it's the name of its warrior power. What do you have?
Mine is Goku flavored.
Wow, we're children.
It says Flying Nimbus. It's got Goku on the front. There's orange at the top, like around the top of the can. So I'm like, maybe it's orange flavored.
Yeah, mine's green for Piccolo. I'm
maybe
assuming.
yours is green flavored.
Piccolo flavored.
But yeah,
I have to admit that I do not know much about Dragon Ball Z.
what do you know about Dragon Ball Z?
I know that Goku is the character. And
What else do you know?
Piccolo's a character. And then they go Super Saiyan.
Did you know about the Dragon Balls?
Yeah, I knew there were Dragon Balls in it.
Okay.
Just not those type of Dragon Balls.
I don't know what you're talking about. How much caffeine? I'm trying to see how much caffeine there is.
100 milligrams.
Oh, you know what? There's 67 milligrams of potassium.
There you go.
Shout out.
No vitamin D.
Potassium.
Or iron.
No. Potassium's all you need. Remember?
But there's a little bit of calcium as well. Niacin.
Well, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Open it
Pop
up.
this bad boy.
This is one serving. We'll do a little smell first. Yeah.
Smells like lemon lime. Mine does.
Maybe orange. I don't know. I can't tell.
Smells like how I'd assume
maybe mango.
Smells like how I assume Piccolo would smell, to be honest with you.
What did it smell like?
Lemon lime.
Drinks like a soda.
It does drink like a soda.
Kicks like an energy drink.
It doesn't have as much kick as most energy drinks do. It tastes like a Japanese soda.
I actually like it. Like better than most energy drinks because they are so overpowering.
Mm-hmm. Mine definitely tastes like a Japanese soda.
Have you had a lot of Japanese sodas?
Mm-hmm. You know the ones where you can pop the things in?
I know nothing about Japanese sodas.
Really? You didn't
Pop the things in?
You know the glass bottles?
Uh-huh.
And you you have to like pop a glass ball into it to open it. That's how it opens.
No. It's like a video game to open it?
I mean, no. It's
like if you can get the glass ball in, then you can drink your drink.
Hold on. I can't believe you've never...
Japanese, like you.
And neither am I. These bad boys. You never had these?
No.
Like, for real?
For realsies.
All right, next episode.
Next drink break.
Because you can get them at a World Market.
Oh, okay.
Well, I used to have them when we went to, like, the hibachis. You can buy it. You can get one.
Huh.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
They're not bad. They actually taste pretty good. So maybe I'll go grab a few next episode.
I wonder who this is actually from. This is Boston, America.
It's definitely from America.
Darn it. Well, it's good. I like it. It kind of reminds me of Nos. Like the mango Nos.
Really, Nos is really overpowering, though.
Well, I just mean like it's got the Nos flavor, but it's not overpowering like Nos. More of the flavor. You can try it if you want.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I didn't ever watch any Dragon Ball Z or read it. I've thought about going and watching it because I see a bunch of clips about it all the time. But
yeah, I loved it. It was one of those where it's like they're like charging up for like 2 episodes.
Yeah,
you know, they just dragged things out. I think they whenever they did Dragon Ball Z Kai,
that's what I was gonna watch.
That is like half the episodes.
Yeah,
it's the same exact story.
Well, it's like Naruto. Naruto did that.
Okay,
where they did a Naruto Kai and just took out all the filler, and it still a long show, but got rid of a lot of stuff.
Dramatic staring and grunting, and
it's just a lot. So one thing about a lot of animes is that they do that.
Yeah,
and it's like I want to watch them, but I also don't want to sit and watch the same fight for 4 episodes.
Kakarot. How could you do that? How could you be so strong? I'm a real Saiyan. That's my best Vegeta.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Well, he's powering up.
I am.
And I am flying Nimbus.
Getting the warrior power in me.
So, Avatar. The final Airbender episode of season
The last Airbender?
I know.
Hairbender?
Hairbender. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
there was hairbending in this episode.
Was there?
Well, Katara in the fight.
Oh, yeah, her hair got all sorts of out of
it got hairbended.
All right, opening thoughts. What do you think of the 2 episodes?
I
think it'd be a good idea to talk about these 2 together because they are part 1, part 2.
Right. Yeah, sure. So episode 2 better than episode 1. Like I liked episode 2 better than 1.
Mm-hmm.
But 1 was a lot of build up. You know,
Yes.
there's a lot of setup in episode 1.
That's why I'm kind of seeing them as like the same episode. It's just
Yeah, I rewatched I watched episode 1 and 2. I finished the show, animated show, and then I didn't get a chance to rewatch episode 2, but I rewatched episode 1 and felt a little bit better about it. My initially when I was watching it, I was like put off a little bit by some stuff in episode 1. And I don't feel so put off by it, but overall, episode 2, like the end of the show was really strong. I felt like, just a lot of the characters had very good emotional like resolutions to stuff over the last season and these 2 episodes, so yeah.
Nice.
What about you?
I like both episodes. I think it did some things pretty well that we'll talk about. I definitely like the second episode better, but it was more action packed and action heavy.
Yeah.
So I very much enjoyed that. I liked seeing the water bending.
Yeah.
I thought it was very cool. Mm-hmm. And then we actually got to see our first taste of some lightning bending too.
Yep.
Which was very cool.
I was like, that looks like lightning. Sith bending.
She's channeling the dark side. I mean, kind of. Yeah, so I very much enjoyed it. I liked stuff with Zuko. Obviously, Zuko and Iroh. Yeah, I just thought all in all it was a good finisher to the show. And I feel like it followed the animated show very well.
Very closely.
From what I recall of the animated stuff.
No, it really did. So getting into the episode, the first episode, they are obviously heading towards the North Temple. Oh, I think it starts actually
Northern Water Tribe.
With Northern Water Tribe, yeah. I can't remember if it's... I'm thinking about where it starts with Zuko and Iroh. I can't remember if they're at the beginning or not.
Yeah, they are. Because that's when Zuko gets blown up.
Dun, dun,
quote
dun.
unquote.
Yeah. So they get so Zuko gets like fake blown up.
Yeah.
He dies.
Basically what's his name? The General Zhao, what was it? Zhao.
Yeah.
Basically uses one of Zuko's men to trick him into trying to flee, but he really flees on a dinghy that's laced with explosives.
Yeah, the guy like overhears something, he's trying to save him, and then they're like Zuko's trying to go on a barge, and yeah.
And I think that's I think that's how the show, isn't that how the episode starts?
Yeah.
I
think so too, and that's like that exact thing happens in the cartoon as well. But then we get a couple scenes, but it comes back, and then we see that Zuko is like disguising himself.
Yeah, he's alive and fine, and Iroh knows it, and they're plotting,
making plans. Getting to the Northern Water Tribe, they're all like they're expecting Aang somehow.
Yeah, that's the only thing that threw me off about this. We've been expecting you, and we've heard of your stuff here and your stuff here. So like, how? They don't have cell phones, and as far as I'm aware, aren't most of the nations like separate from each other?
Carrier pigeons.
I mean, yeah, but like,
I don't know.
The Earth Nation is doing their own thing. The Fire Nation sure as heck wouldn't say anything about it, and the Air Nation's gone. And most of the Water Nation's gone. I don't know. It was very odd.
I mean, that's
also I feel like there's
kind of been a thing in the show.
But also the way that the time frame is in the show, we don't really know how long it's been.
Right.
Either. We don't know how much time has passed since they left the Southern Water Tribe,
How long have they been on the back of Appa,
It showed, because of how quickly they kind of go through the episodes, that you kind of don't really get a sense of... I mean, it had to have been a while because, as we see later in episode 2, they have the Zeppelin type thing, that hot air balloon.
Yeah.
That was only thought up
because of
Sokka.
Sokka, yeah.
And Omashu.
Yeah.
Which is, it has been a bit of time because it was finally developed and made.
Right. It had been at least...
So I guess it's possible that it's been a few months and they have gotten word.
Yeah.
I still don't know how they knew they were coming to the Northern Water Tribe, but it's one of those things that you can just kind of brush under the rug.
I think that's one of the weaker aspects of the show is the sense of scope, like, because it's only 8 episodes, Whereas in the cartoon, when Katara, we'll get to it, but spoilers, but when she fights the Water Master, you've seen her progressing for like 20 episodes.
Yeah, they didn't do a very good job in this one.
Whereas I'm like I hadn't seen the first so, but there's just a lot of stuff with the whole thing with Katara and the Water Master and like the way she's pushing back against him, stuff that I just had a hard time buying because I don't know, I just didn't see her as having kind of the ability or really having earned the right to be on this moral high ground,
From at least what we've seen in the live action. I think in the animated one, it's a little bit better because you've seen her grow more, learn more.
Right. No, yeah, definitely. That definitely felt like I honestly, watching the animated, I was thinking, I was like, why does it not bother me in the animated as much, So that's one of the things that, they discover, one of their obstacles, or at least for Katara, because Katara's whole storyline has been like she wants to be a better waterbender. She could go to the Northern Water Tribe and be taught, and then she gets there and finds out that they only allow women to heal with their bending, and how did it come off to you, how they handled that?
So all of it together, I actually didn't mind it as much. I agree with you that I did, when it comes to her fighting the Master, I didn't feel like she really earned the ability that she showed. The audience wasn't shown her being able to use that ability prior to. It's more of, we've had a couple fumbles, she's learned a few different things here and there, and now all of a sudden she's fighting a Master. But that being said, I feel like I kind of got the sense that the Master was holding back. And that's kind of like my own little headcanon, is like she isn't, like, at least in live action, she's like, he was holding back. It wasn't going to go all full force. Right. That being said, I like how they did that storyline. And I think part of it is because, one, she wasn't against healing. She wasn't against learning to heal. She was just also wanting to fight. And it wasn't because unfortunately in this day and age, it's a lot of times a lot of companies are pushing women can do anything a man can do. And so a lot of times they do that by just giving this character all these powers that they can do, and so that they're better than men. They didn't do that with this one. She still lost.
Yeah.
And once again, she wasn't just saying, "Oh, I only want to fight and be like the men." It was, "Well, I'm excited to learn to heal, but I also want to learn how to do this so that I can protect and defend and all that." Yeah. And that was kind of what she was saying when they finally get to the end, when the guy lets the woman fight. She's just like, "You need our help. Like, we're here. Let us help you." And then once again, she also had lost to the Master. It wasn't like she won. So I feel like they did a good job of kind of better than nowadays where they show the story like that. She was an actual strong female character, right? Where she wasn't this most amazing, perfect person who could do whatever she wants. Like, she still lost, but is also still fighting for the right thing. Yeah. So I enjoyed that aspect. I think they did a good job.
So
once again, I do have an issue though with the fact that it didn't really feel as earned as it should have been. Like in the animated show, they did it way better because we had more time with them.
Right. Well, the only thing about it is it made, I mean, once again, the same thing pretty much happens in the animated show with Paku, the water bending master. The only difference is what changes his mind is different. And I kind of liked it better how they did in the animated show.
What changes his mind in the animated
show?
So,
spoilers if you haven't watched the animated show and don't want to and you want to watch it without knowing. So in the animated show, it's the same thing. Women can't aren't allowed to fight. But he sees her necklace, and her necklace is a betrothal necklace that was given to her gran by him.
That's right.
And she left the tribe because of how restrictive they were
That's
on
right.
women.
Yep.
And went south, and so he actually lost her because of those
Strict rules.
those kind of just traditions. And so when that reminds him of that, and then Katara, I think this is after they fight, Katara makes that comment that you lost Grangar because of these stupid rules, and whenever that happens, he kind of softens on it, because it's like he realized it's like more of an emotional thing. It made me feel bad for him, like in a way, like I felt bad that he kind of sabotaged himself, with this person or whatever, and so it made him more sympathetic. Whereas he's not really sympathetic in the show, because in the live action show, because he only made the concession because they were going to die. Like, it was not like he had some enlightening experience. I mean, sure, he could after the fact and be like, well, they helped us. And so, but having it happen in the cartoon when they weren't like they knew they were coming, but it wasn't like the fire's raining down from heaven on them. And so you just better let us fight. So that was something that was interesting, a difference between.
Yeah, I feel like the other thing that wasn't really earned in that aspect was like at the end when him and Katara are talking after the battle and he calls her a master.
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, right. I get what we're getting at, but like...
And I think that's the same thing. It's in the cartoon, that Aang is going to be able to be learning waterbending from her. But you're right. It's just... We had no lead up to that payoff. Right.
We didn't see her grow that much, except for her not being able to waterbend in the first episode, and now she can, waterbend a decent bit.
And they showed her getting better and stuff, but they didn't show her I feel like they didn't show her potential. Whereas in the cartoon, they're always hinting that. Like, I remember she was getting mad at the waterbending master, and she's like yelling, and like you can see like cracks forming like around her. Like, there's clearly a thing with her and like her emotions and her being really powerful and stuff. And that just wasn't foreshadowed as well, I think, in the live action.
And they also just like, at least in the cartoon, you see her multiple times practicing. I mean, you see it a couple times in the live action, but in the cartoon, you see a lot more of her practicing, or her talking about herself getting better, or her trying out new things, learning new things. Whereas, like, in particular in this episode, like when she's fighting Zuko, she's like pulling out abilities that she didn't know how to do prior to, and now all of a sudden she's pulling them out. And it's just like, I get the thought process of her like being intuitive and being able to learn these things, but at the same time, it's just like, it's the same problem with like Rey in Star Wars. Like, you can't just make a character be able to do all these crazy things. Like, have them train, have them learn. The animated show, I feel like, did that pretty well. Whereas once again, we don't really get that. Now, obviously, once again, there's a lot of time in between the episodes in the live action, but you also have to do a little bit of showing. I think that I've learned or have grown to appreciate in shows is when you do a lot more show instead of tell as well. Of like, sometimes you want to see them doing some training, not just saying that they did training, or not just saying that they're so intuitive. Like, I don't know. Yeah,
that was one other knock on the episode was, Aang got to the waterbending tribe where you're supposed to learn waterbending, and he
learned nothing.
Didn't learn waterbending. Like in the cartoon, he at least goes and has a lesson with the waterbending master. He gets cut off from him because he's teaching Katara what he's learning from the waterbending master. And so that was just a bummer that like he's not trying to learn waterbending, it'd be cool to see him do a little waterbending as the Avatar. So that there is an aspect of it where it feels like he's lower, his power level's lower in the live action than it is in the cartoon. He's definitely more confident in his like at least bending abilities. But but some good things.
Real quick, there was this other thing that made me laugh where they're talking about Airbender, or they were asking him to defend them or to whatever. And he talks about how airbenders, they're for defense, like we're pacifism, stuff like that. And then it cut to like 30 minutes later, and he's just like using Airbender to freaking absolutely just destroy a ship. And I'm like, wow, that's a
The beginning of the second one.
yeah. I mean, I get the point, but like you kind of
use it for defensive. Yeah.
So anyway, I started blasting.
Started airbending.
But other than that, I didn't like. I thought the rest of it was really good.
Yeah.
I liked all the Fire Nation stuff, seeing all the ships. The firebending CGI is just top notch. Actually, all the bending CGI is pretty top notch so far.
I think the firebending is the one that has come across as the best, I think, in the show, which I guess I'm not surprised because just fire is just cool.
I mean, the firebender has always been my favorite.
Yeah.
Like as a kid when we used to, play pretend or like, when we always picked which bending we would want, I was always like, I know fire all the way. It's so cool. Water's dope. I like earth too, but like air, I never liked air. Thought it was boring and lame. I'm gonna get some heat for that, but
From who?
the airbenders.
The airbenders out there listening.
I think my brother's
You're gonna get some heat from airbenders, huh? Mm-hmm. And I thought the stuff with like the spirits was really interesting.
I did not know. It's been a while since I've watched the animated show, obviously, but I did not realize that when he goes into that state, the like avatar state when everything happens,
yeah.
I didn't realize that he was like basically channeling the wrath of the spirit.
Oh, in the cartoon.
I thought he was just doing a full-on avatar state thing.
I think they did a much better job. That was something I think they did much better in the show, in the live action show. Like the first of all, they explained it really well. And having what's her name, the princess, kind of basically explain to like Sokka what's happening, made it feel and the music was great, and the visuals were great.
Yeah. The soundtrack was pretty top notch in these episodes,
and it really felt like in the moon. I mean, it's like the moon is like dead. It's
that was cool.
It was crazy.
The color change for the scenes when the moon disappeared was when it's red, or even just like almost like you almost have like a black and white type of feel to it.
Yeah,
was just a very good touch.
And I hadn't seen the animated show yet, so I was like, no way they're gonna kill the moon. Like
they do.
And then whenever Zhao gets the thing through the fish that represents the moon spirit, I was just like, oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Exactly. And yeah.
All that they did very well in the live action. That whole scene with the Iroh and Zhao, and then you have, Aang and obviously what's her name? The moon spirit lady, I cannot remember her
I don't remember her name either.
Who's got a
white hair. She's a fox when she dreams.
Yeah, who's got a crush on Sokka.
The boy of my dreams.
And then they that whole scene. And then even all the stuff with her at the end when she, gives up the moon spirit to become the moon again. Just always reminds me of that meme. There's a meme that was going around. It's just like different characters with like moons. It's just like, I was friends with the moon. I was whatever. And then it shows Sokka. And it's like, I effed the moon.
Oh my gosh, I've never seen that.
I'm gonna pull it up now. I can find it.
So, the thing with I thought another thing the show did really well, and it made.
That's what it is. It has astronauts or people, the first ones. I studied the moon, then I orbited the moon, and then I walked on the moon, and then it just has a picture of Sokka smiling,
raising his eyebrow. Yeah, I mean, we could talk about. I'll come back to but like I liked their stuff. I did think that was another thing where the pacing was a little off, where it felt a little rushed.
Yeah,
like she kissed him so quick, but they did have that set up with like her seeing him in the spirit world, and
yeah, I feel like their relationship was a little rushed. And it doesn't give you the same payoff because like they kind of just met. Whereas I think isn't the anime show they spend a little bit more time together.
Yeah, there's 3 episodes in the northern water tribe. So, you've got the first episode, is very relaxed. There's just a lot of room for them to start to follow each other around and run into each other and stuff. And then the second episode, it starts to get more serious. And then the third episode is when all heck breaks loose. So you really get the, and I mean, I don't know how, but like at the same time, they're 20-minute episodes. So it's like, it's the same amount of time.
But I don't know.
It's just how they use it.
Yeah, the way the time is used is just,
and I don't know how it ends up that way, but I mean, like at the same time though, like when it got to that point, where you knew what was going to have to happen, I definitely felt it. Definitely like got there.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I had you. Well, I had
Sokka. Like I was like, oh my gosh. Sokka.
And I did remember the show, the animated show too. So like just remembering that, just
yeah. Well, and like Sokka's he's a more sympathetic character in the live action because he's not like he's just not so ridiculous, as he is in the cartoon, which I mean is hilarious. I love him in the cartoon, and he was even hilarious in this arc, but because the guy that's courting her in the cartoon is like a jerk, but he's like rubbing in Sokka's face that he's going to get to marry her. Caring about Sokka more and seeing him, like she talks about his heart and how his heart's what sets him apart. And then so it's like now his heart is going to be come the moon,
Yeah.
Essentially, that was pretty heartbreaking.
You just can't win.
Can't win for losing.
But then you get more and more Zuko Iroh growth.
Yeah.
I really liked Iroh in the second episode. Because you really kind of see that he's not, and they've obviously shown it throughout the entire season, but like he's not like your other firebenders. He's not this ruthless, evil,
right?
Like Fire Lord Ozai.
He cares about the world, not just the Fire Nation.
Exactly, he cares about the world. He cares, He almost, even with this journey for the Avatar, he almost seems just more interested in. Ultimately, he's just most interested in helping Zuko,
right.
But like, even he doesn't think the Avatar is necessarily bad, and. But like, he really, really finally drives home in this episode when he tries to stop Zhao from killing the Moon Spirit. He's just like, you can't do that. Like, you're wiping out entire bending.
Yeah, he's like, whatever you do to the Moon Spirit, I will unleash on you tenfold or something like that. I just loved that. And then, of course, he keeps his promise and starts taking out a bunch of the firebenders whenever they're trying to fight for the Moon Spirit to get it back before he gets it. So that was really cool to see him bending and stuff. And
yeah, especially like he points out like this isn't just gonna stop bending. It's gonna like you're getting rid of the moon.
Balance.
It's gonna wreak havoc on the world,
tides and everything. And
he's like, there won't be anything left to rule, basically.
Right.
Which once again shows that he's smart. He's intelligent. He doesn't just care about this one thing. He cares about the world. And all that. So you continue to see more and more of the character that Iroh is, and then the way he's trying to push Zuko.
Yeah, I liked seeing Zhao go completely bonkers too. Yes. Like he has like a bonkers plan, and then he carries it out, and he's like, psycho screaming how they're gonna call him the Moon Slayer. Zhao the Moon Slayer. It's like, man, this guy's nuts. And then I love the payoff of whenever Zuko and him are fighting. That was a great payoff. I was like, yes, they're going to fight. Because I think they had fought earlier in the cartoon at one point.
I don't remember.
It was like really early on they fought, and Zhao like did something. He did what he was about to do in the cartoon. He was going to hit him when his back was turned after he'd already lost. And but then Iroh takes him out.
Freaking Iroh, man. That was a good scene. Once again, the firebender, not only is their bending looks some of the coolest, but the way they bend is just very kung fu.
Yeah, a lot of kicking.
Like I like Zuko. I love Zuko's fight style. It's just very it's flashy, but I'm a sucker for the flashy fights.
What do you think of the fight with Zuko and Katara?
I liked it.
That was a cool to see them face off.
It's very cool to see him face off, especially knowing how things go in the later seasons, which I won't say anything about. But yeah, I liked it a lot. That was one of those things that was like kind of like meh, because I don't remember how it is in the animation, but it's just like, I mean, Zuko has been trained as, he literally beat Fire Lord Ozai, and Katara is just whipping his butt, and she's been training for like at the most of a few months. Like, I'm sorry, I just think.
Yeah, I was kind of feeling the same way. I mean, I liked seeing them face off, but it definitely was.
And I'm fully aware that people have like innate abilities, so people are really strong, but like you have to just. I think Star Wars is always a good example because people will say like, well, Anakin was so strong. Yes, but Anakin also trained for years.
Right.
He was already highly strong in the Force, but then he had to train to hone that power.
There's also just like, you've got to be able to the actress. You've got to be able to convince us.
Yes.
It's not just about like, it definitely, if we see you training more and stuff like that, that helps, but it's not the only thing. Like, you've got to actually seem believable.
Yes.
And it's just, when I'm watching her do her moves and stuff compared to Zuko, it's just, there's just so much more believability,
The only thing that she's got going for her lore-wise is that like they did have that the full moon out, and it was mentioned that it's supposed to strengthen their so bending. I get that.
So that's fair, yeah.
But still, it's like
the ice moon. Coming back to what happens when the moon spirit is killed, and it's that's kind of the culmination of the season in a lot of ways, because they've been just hyping up. Every time Aang talks to an avatar, they're like, you have to do it alone. Mm-hmm. You have to do it alone. You have to make the decision no one else can make. You have to bear the burden of the avatar. And so this is like the moment where he's like kind of seeing the cost of not doing that, I think, or not being able to do that. And so he's just like, no, this isn't going to happen, or something along those lines. And he goes in the avatar state and like kind of merges with the water spirit and becomes this huge like hulking water monster thing.
Almost Godzilla-esque, but just made of water.
And then the princess is like, the avatar is gone. All that is left is a vengeful spirit that will never find its mate, or something like that. And I was just like, that was pretty heavy.
Yeah.
And it was just awesome, just like how much time we got to see it just tearing through the city and tearing up the boats and everything.
Yeah, it's a good scene.
Yeah,
good destruction scene.
I mean, what do you think about that kind of like payoff for all of that build up?
I liked it, but I feel like maybe it was the point, but like I feel like Aang got to the wrong conclusion at the end there. Like, I understand the sacrifice.
After that, or like the conclusion at that moment? At
that moment.
Okay.
I'm a sucker for a hero who's willing to sacrifice.
Right.
Sucker for it. And honestly, I think it was a good scene because Iroh got to see that Aang is willing to sacrifice for the good of whatever. But that being said, I don't think Aang thought that through at all, because he's just like, I gotta do it alone, I gotta do this thing. Well, now you've just become this vengeful water spirit. The world is still at war, and now there's no avatar because you're not dead. Right. Which means you're not going to reincarnate. You're just going to wander the earth.
Yeah.
There wasn't much thought.
Yeah.
Then you get the payoff of, the girl, Sokka's girl, ends up having the moon spirit, so she gives up that moon spirit to become the moon again, and she basically becomes this moon spirit. Which allows the vengeful spirit to no longer need to be vengeful and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But I get, and I don't even know if anything really comes of it after that. Like Aang's thought process. I don't remember what's said.
I don't remember either.
But I don't remember if Aang mentioned like
that he made a mistake.
Like that's like a prime opportunity to be like, I felt the vengefulness of the spirit and like, learn something. I don't know. But it's like, once again, like I get the sacrifice, but like, the sacrifice still needs to mean something more, and just destroying these ships at the Northern Water Tribe.
At the same point, though, it's like the moon is gone, like water bending is gone, and so it's almost like I think that maybe you could make an argument that I mean, yes, there's war one way or the other, but when you have that catastrophic of a loss, it's almost like you've lost. Like you may not feel the full extent of that loss for however many months or whatever it takes for the Fire Nation to actually do it, but it's like at that point, it's like you've lost waterbending, and what's going to happen to the rest of the world now with no moon? And you could almost argue that it's just like,
for sure, but then you would think, that would just give you a bigger drive to win or to do what's right.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it would, I would have understood the sacrifice.
I'm going vengeful water spirit.
I would have understood the sacrifice more and agree with it more if he was like, I'm going to give up my spirit to become the moon spirit.
Yeah.
Because once again, at this point, I had forgotten
Vengeful.
I even forgot that that whole thing was. I thought that was just the Avatar state thing from the cartoon. I forgot that was an eventual. So at that point, I thought that's what he was going to do. Is he was going to try and sacrifice himself to be a moon spirit, then the girl was going to jump in and be like, or he was going to fail somehow, and then she was going to be like, well, I have a piece of the moon spirit within me.
I'm part moon.
I'm part moon. The dogs keep howling at me. I don't know why.
That reminded me that the moment whenever I loved the moment when Zuko realized the stakes of what had happened, that Aang was like, the Avatar was gone, because he still was like, I got to get the Avatar. And that was everything. And so whenever he realizes the Avatar is gone because of what Zhao did, what Zhao did, then he's like so angry at Zhao, like in that moment, that's whenever they start fighting. And so that was like that emotional punctuation to, it's not just like we're fighting because he's like, you took everything from me because the Avatar is gone. Like I've lost the chance, to get the Avatar. So I really liked how that came together,
Well, then hopefully now, like going into the next season, we'll get a bit of, because Zhao also had that moment of telling Zuko, like, you were never going to come back.
Right.
Which we don't actually know is necessarily what Fire Lord Ozai meant. Or said. It still seems more of like a Ozai wants Zuko to prove his strength.
Right.
But anyway, Zuko now believes that. And so that'll, I'm interested to see how that's going to change his attitude going into season 2.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well,
all in all, I mean, I know we kind of talked crap on some things, but like all in all, I really liked the 2 episodes. Really liked the show in general. I thought it was a very nice, good adaptation with what they had.
Yeah, honestly, I felt like there were ups and downs. I mean, there were like, that's part of the reason why I feel okay ragging on some things, just is because there's some things I think were so good. I really think that how they handled, everything from the moment of the moon spirit dying to the end of the episode was just, in a lot of ways, more epic, felt more intense, and more like in the cartoon, it just didn't feel it. Like, I didn't feel the emotional stakes as much.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of strong stuff this season. So definitely worth sticking around and checking out the other ones.
Yeah, I'm excited for the next couple seasons. I think season 2 and 3 have already been announced that they're going to be a thing, which doesn't surprise me.
Cool.
So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, me too. Well, we'll be back next time.
We don't know what we're going to talk about yet.
Figure out what we're going to
figure it out. Because, if we finished a series, now we've got to figure something else out.
We finished something. Look at us.
Look at us finishing things.
Oh, this is episode 60. Congratulations.
Oh, congratulations, co-host.
And 2,500 downloads. Congratulations.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All our 6 listeners who downloaded the 59 episodes.
Downloaded it. I don't know the math. 15 times each episode.
Is that the math?
Yeah. I don't know. Don't check me on that. But yeah, so this has been the Bridge of Two podcast.
A far, far away bridge.